to go back, Kate. Oh wait, wrong show. Hello everyone, let's talk about Outlander, Dragonfly and Ember season finale. You might have noticed that things look a little different. It's because I am out of town, but that won't prevent me from talking about Outlander because, oh my god, Outlander. I'm gonna start with some quick thoughts. And the fact that even though the episode was 90 minutes, it really just felt like a normal episode. That's how good it was. Let's do 2 hours next time because I need more. I also really love how this episode was structured, which was really different from all the other episodes with the going back and forth between the past and the present, the past and the present. I mean, it was frustrating a lot because you're like, no, what happens next? No, what happens next? That's about it for quick thoughts, just 2. Because the rest is just massive thoughts. And even though I did enjoy the going back and forth, I'm going to first focus on the past now and then move on to the present. So let's talk about the past. So we know Culloden is happening and the last resort is apparently to try and kill Charles. Which, you know, part of me was like, maybe, you know, another option would have been to just leave, you know, run away. But I guess Jamie probably wouldn't have run away. He would have been like, no. And I'm not really sure that would have helped them because they would have been deserters. I don't know. So let's kill Charles, except that Dougal overhears them. When they started talking about killing Charles, obviously I expected it to fail because we know Culloden still happened, but I certainly didn't expect that to lead to them killing Dougal. That was just like, wow. I wasn't really surprised by Dougal's reaction because we know how much he really believed in the cause, and at this point he's thinking, wow, they're about to freaking kill Charles and they're betraying us. So, you know, we know Dougal has a temper, kind of a normal reaction, I think, for him. Unfortunately, that kind of left Jamie and Claire with no other choice than to pretty much kill him. Graham McTavish was so fantastic in this scene when he's just like, you, Jamie, you betrayed, like you ripped my heart out. I think that's one of the worst things that Jamie could have done to him, and it's just so hard. I mean, wow, good performance. And then on top of everything, then Rupert comes in and he's like, whoa, what is happening? At least they didn't have to kill Rupert because he gave Jamie 2 hours to go do his thing, but we never really did find out how Jamie got out of it. Although I guess it doesn't really matter because probably Rupert died in the battle, so, you know. My favorite part though was Murtaugh's reaction because he was the complete opposite of everybody else. He's like,
I'm just surprised you didn't kill him earlier.
And that's why he's in on the secret. Also now I wonder if he died in the battle or survived like Jamie. I hope he survived. Please. I also wonder about what happened to Fergus because we know he did deliver the deed, but we don't know what happened to him after that. And so I wonder if that's something we're gonna find out later on or something. I hope he's okay. Maybe Jenny took care of him and just kind of adopted him. And then we get the final goodbyes between Jamie and Claire. As I suspected, Claire's pregnancy is revealed in this episode, and while I'm not surprised that Claire knew, I am surprised that Jamie figured it out because he was keeping track of her cycles. What? I mean, just Jamie, stop. Just stop. You're just too much. It's too much. And then when they say a final goodbye and they're, you know, they're walking backwards, and then he puts her hand on the stone. I mean, you're like, killed me, Outlander, like seriously. And Claire is gone, but before she was gone, Jamie did tell her that he would find her even if it takes him 200 years. That's love. Time will not separate Jamie and Claire. There's hope. Something's gonna happen, which leads us to the present. And they have teased us this season, I think twice with the present, but never enough to really satisfy us. And they kept it all for this episode and then they went full out. It's like, here, have it all. What? So many revelations, so many things to just like digest. Let's talk about Brianna first. I'll be honest, I didn't really find her that likable, and she was a bit childish and annoying and whining. And I just kind of felt like, wow, your dad is Jamie and your mom is Claire and that's what we get? I expected a little more than that. Did you guys enjoy Brianna? Because I think the only things that I enjoyed about her is the fact that she's Jamie and Claire's child, and that we got some interesting revelations with her. For example, when she says that Frank was the kindest man in the world, and I kept thinking that's because he got Alex's genes. And then when they go to Fort William and they look at the place where they did the flogging, and she mentions like not really liking the place, and we know that that's where Jamie actually got flogged by Blackjack in season 1, so you know, there's a connection there. I like that. But other than that, not a fan. On the other hand, we got Geillis back. Or Jillian Edgars, which is her real name. I mean, the second I heard her speak, I was like, oh, Geillis is back. Like, before I even saw her, I was like, Geillis, it's Geillis. But it's a younger Geillis before she actually went back to the past, obviously, which is crazy. At first, I actually wondered if Claire and her were gonna meet so that when she goes back to the past, she would have actually met the future Claire, and that's why she kind of got close to Claire in the past or something, but no, that didn't happen. For me, the Geillis storyline took a whole other meaning in this episode. First of all, she actually studied and went back in the past on purpose. It's not like Claire where she's like, what's happening? You know, Geillis was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna help them win Culloden. Ironically, that's what Claire was trying to do, so they could have teamed up. I personally would be very curious though to see the difference in between Geillis' arrival in the past and Claire, because we know that Claire was like, what the hell is happening? But Geillis knows where she is, so I'm just curious to see how she kind of adapted to life and how she weaved herself into the past. She also thought that she needed a sacrifice in order to go through the stones, and so she burnt her husband. It led to poetic justice in a way, because she burnt her husband in order to go through the stones, and in turn she ended up being burnt herself. A life for life, I guess. And then we have Roger Mackenzie, which for me is another indication that you can't change the past and everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Because if Geillis hadn't gone back to the past and had a baby with Dougal, then Roger wouldn't exist. So it's all meant to be, always, you know? And that leads us to the cliffhanger. Jamie is still alive, obviously, because otherwise what's the point? And that means that Claire has to go back. She has to go back, Kate. She has to, no, wrong show still. I love that, even though it was a little cheesy, that when she realizes that Jamie didn't die, the sun rises. The colors become brighter as if her world is alive again because her love is alive and waiting for her. I do have one question about her going back though. If she goes back through the stones, then would she go back to the same place that she had initially gone to? Or does she go back, you know, 20 years later because 20 years have passed for her? Because I think Geillis actually didn't even go back to the same point that Claire went. She went back even further in the past, because when Claire arrived there, it seemed that Geillis had been there for a while. So how do the stones work? Do they send you where you're meant to go in the past? How does it all work? And then if Claire goes back to the past 20 years later, what has Jamie been doing all this time? Will we get an older Jamie? I mean, obviously we would get an older Jamie, so what's going on there? So many questions, so many questions. So freaking excited for season 3. Oh my god. Amazing finale, really, really great season. I loved it. But of course, that's me. I would love to hear what you thought of this episode. Did you love it as much as I did? Are you freaking out about, you know, season 3? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this season, watching the reviews, commenting, liking, everything. It's been so much fun talking about Outlander and just being excited about it and just following Claire and Jamie's new adventures. I loved it. Thank you again so much, and I will see you soon. Bye! I think this is the first time that I'm considering reading the books. I think I might hold off on it because I still have to read the Game of Thrones books, but wow, that cliffhanger was kind of like, oh man, maybe I should read the books because I kind of want to know what happens, but I don't know. I also like having the surprise of watching the show, so who knows, we'll see.